Rubber Ducky here. Welcome to episode 4 of the German campaign in Close Combat 3. 500 subscribers is well within reach, and you can make that happen. Click the subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications. I can't believe how much the channel has grown in the last 3 days, so please do your part and help keep it up.
Rains turn the Russian countryside into oceans of mud, which combines with ever-lengthening German supply lines and increasing Russian resistance to put the German invasion behind schedule. November brings freezing temperatures and ground hard enough for cross-country movement. The cold extracts a killing toll on the Germans. Too few winter uniforms are available. No one thought the war would last this long. As the cold intensifies, so does the Russian resistance. Russian equipment is designed to perform in the brutal cold. The Russian T-34 tank keeps moving and fighting in sub-zero weather while their German counterparts freeze up. On December 5th, the Germans suspend their attack within sight of the Kremlin spires. On December 6th, the Russians unleash a counteroffensive and the Germans are sent reeling.
Roads to Moscow, November 20th, 1941. The muck and mire of the muddy season is over. The frozen ground means your panzers can once again move freely across the Soviet countryside. Your command is now attached to the 19th Panzer Division as part of Operation Typhoon. Your objective is to crush the forces facing you, capture Moscow, and destroy the Bolshevist government. The Soviet Fifth Army is facing you. Employ standard blitzkrieg tactics, hit hard and fast, to reach Moscow before heavy snow bogs you down. Intelligence reports the Bolshevists are burning buildings to rob us of shelter. They also report you can expect field fortifications on your route. This final push demands iron discipline, sacrifice, and peak performance. On to Moscow. The road to Moscow starts here. Your objective is to crush Bolshevist resistance and secure a route forward. Without possession of the road, we'll be unable to keep you supplied as you drive forward. Your command is attached to the 19th Panzer Division, so look to add armor, even commanders in half-tracks or tanks, to your fighting force. Intelligence indicates our tanks might be inferior to the new Soviet model spotted in your sector, but remember, our crews have superior training and experience. Adding command armor to your force will give you superior control on the battlefield. Make sure command armor survives the battle. Think about choosing teams prepared for winter conditions. The hill above the crossroad dominates the terrain. Any enemy weapons on this hill threaten your infantry, and AT guns or tanks here will endanger your panzers. The low trees west of the hill might offer concealment as you advance. Don't ignore your southern flank as you advance. On to Moscow. So I wonder if this red progress bar right here is my progress towards my next rank. Like, that's kind of how I read that. So, kind of cool. The annihilation of Russian troops in the summer of 1941 seemed to herald a swift conclusion to the war. The German general staff could not imagine that the Russians could suffer such horrific losses and still field a credible fighting force. After the Battle of Kiev, where the Russians lost over 600,000 men, the Germans turned back toward Moscow to administer the coup de grace. It was important to end things quickly, as German logistics were not prepared for a protracted war or for one to be fought in the winter. Troops lacked boots and clothes to withstand the cold, and German equipment froze up and failed to operate in the freezing temperatures that were now imminent. On the Russian side, full mobilization had taken hold, and millions of men and women were being hurried through enlistment and into new defensive lines. Citizens were mobilized to create barricades and strongpoints around Moscow and Leningrad. Battle-hardened troops from Serbia were railed into Moscow, thanks to a pact between the Russians and the Japanese. Moreover, the newest Russian tanks, the T-34 and the KV-1, were arriving in large numbers. Both were superior to anything the Germans had in the field. In October, the Germans launched Operation Typhoon with the intent of taking Moscow. In the north, troops got within sight of the spires of the Kremlin before the terrain, poor logistics, and the tenacious Russian defense stopped them. In the south, Guderian drove north and east of Tula, heading toward the southern edge of Moscow, attempting to bypass the toughest Russian defenses. But poor weather and stiffening resistance stopped his panzer army well short of Moscow. In December, Stavka went over to the offensive. The shock of the previously invincible German army was extraordinary. The Germans were unprepared for winter warfare and assumed that offensive operations were impossible. They were wrong, and they were quickly thrown back from Moscow. German troops were forced to form hedgehog defenses around strong points, leaving the countryside free to roaming Russian troops who swept behind them and inflicted significant losses on rear area troops and isolated units. Moscow was never to be threatened again by the German army. Okay, so we've got forest in the northwest up here, and then we've got this hill over here, but it's kind of a short drive to go straight to it. So I kind of like that, and that's the hill that overlooks the whole battlefield. So we need those trenches, and then we've got kind of command of the entire road from west to east. All right, so we've got some partial squads and a damaged Mark III with a missing crew member, and an AT gun with a missing crew member. So I think with our 50 requisition points, we're going to refit this AT gun for 4 points right there. We're going to get our guy back. We're also going to hit this Mark III because we need that repaired and we need a full crew. That's 9. It's going to leave us 37. We're going to repair this squad. That's 2. That'll bring us to 35. And I don't know. If we upgrade him to a command vehicle, that's 32. So that's not enough. That's what I was afraid of. But I think what we do is this gives us a better overall loadout. And I wonder if we change the plan and we put this rifle squad on rest. So we're just not going to fight them right now. It's going to be 3 points to get them retired or 8 points to get them repaired. But what if we just rest them this fight? And then when we've got the 8 points, we'll get them back up to speed. A popular request so far has been to rename the units after viewers. I love the idea, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see who's successful and who doesn't make it to the end. There are a lot of you who have been really active in the comments, so it's possible more viewers want something named after them than I have units available. So what you're going to do is leave your chosen name or your username in a comment, which unit you would prefer to be named after, and if Brunner should stay as the commander. Then, after you've left your comment, leave a like on other people's comments, and based on the most popular ones, we'll go by popularity and the order that they get received in. So if your unit is available and it's the one that you want your name on, you'll get that one. If not, we'll get you another unit probably in the same class or a similar class. So we'll give this one a try and we'll see how it goes, and we'll reassess if needed. Finally, let's get into the fight and let's get this battle going. This is our first one in the snow, and we're going to see how this plays out for us. Okay, it's kind of got everybody up in the forest already. I kind of like that, but not the gun. Oh no. Let's put him back here. He's got firing lines on the road. There's a destroyed building that kind of blocks his view. Yeah, he can see down to the bottom too. So we're going to put him there. He doesn't have any cover, but he's got line of sight. Infantry, we're going to pull back, put them on ambush. They are going to push up the hill at the top. Let's get this Panzer over here on defend. We'll get this Mark III on defend. Brunner, I don't know. There's his command radius. Thank you for the tip on that. Holding space helps. Okay, I think this is kind of how we want it. I hate that the AT gun's in the open, but I do want it to be able to see some of the battlefield. So let's hope with him in the back, he doesn't just get hit immediately. I don't think I want to bother with the hill at the south just because there's no cover or concealment. I think we're just going to go straight for this hill with the trenches at the top and hope for the best up there and then try and control the battlefield. But the one thing I do see is let's spread these out just a little bit just because of how much they're congested in there. We will keep Brunner kind of down here, but he doesn't have to get everybody in his command circle, just the majority of them. But this guy's down here in case there's enemies in these burned out buildings that start engaging our AT gun. Oh, it sounds very windy out here. Interesting. Okay, nobody immediately available. I guess if we don't have a target, we'll give them just a second, but I think I'm going to start advancing infantry up the hill. I'm going to sneak them. I don't want to be spotted any sooner than I have to be, so we'll try and crawl them up. We'll move tanks up behind them. Ideally, I'd like to keep Brunner up with these guys in the north that are going to advance, keep them in the support circle, and then depending on if that's working or not, we'll reassess then. I got a comment to keep things like armored cars and stuff concealed when the enemy's attacking. Like if they start mortaring me, move them into trees and stuff. So I might keep Brunner back a little bit, even if they leave his command circle. Let him stay in the trees so he doesn't get targeted. And then once the coast is clear, then we'll pull him up a little bit. So these guys are on the move. Let's get the tanks to start moving up. Something tells me we'll get hit soon. All right, you move up here, and then I don't like him too close to those burned out buildings because if they're hiding there, we're not going to see them. But we're going to take a small chance and at least get line of sight into that little burned out structure. I do want to play this a little safer and take it easy, not get too far ahead of our armor, not get our armor too far ahead of our infantry, try and keep them moving together. I keep hearing good things about mortars, and I do want them, even just right now. I'd love to have a smoke screen, but with only 50 points, I didn't want to spend it on them. I wanted to upgrade the units we did, so hopefully that's not going to bite us in the butt later. But for right now, this is how it is, and we'll see if we can get a mortar on the next fight. All right. He can see up there, and he can see the intersection of the dirt roads. So he's actually in a really good spot. He's got a little bit of the hill blocking his field of view, but he can see down here pretty good too. All right, tank's starting to pass the infantry, but that's okay. Everybody's moving. Nobody's noticed us yet. We'll pull Brunner down here and actually have him kind of set up shop in between these two vehicles, and then depending on who engages first, we can move him into position. Oh, we got a team back here. They don't see us. We don't see them. Oh, well, I guess we do. We found him. I'm okay with him auto-engaging like that, but let's make sure we kill him. Yeah, just like that. Okay. First team down. Easy so far. No sign of armor yet. We do have more guys at the flag. Let's get them targeted. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Perfect. Tanks are supporting infantry the exact way we want them to. Now we just need the infantry to do the same in return for the tanks. I don't see anything else right now. We did find out that they can hide in the trenches very well. Like, we can get very close to the trench and they can be in it. So we got to kind of watch out and make sure that we clear the trenches and not just roll the tanks up there and drive on top of, an AT team or something. So these guys are almost to their position. We'll have them probably clear the hill. It just kind of depends on how this goes once they're up there. Of course, as soon as the first mortar hits, the whole plan's going to go out the window. So I want to move the tank, but I don't want to rush it. So if we wait for a second, let the infantry actually get into position, we'll see where that gets us, and then we'll move the tank in behind. We are going to move this guy a little bit. He's got those trees kind of blocking him. Let's get him out, see if he can see anything right here. This little village that's all burned down is kind of eerie. I'm waiting for somebody to be in it and ambush us, but at the same time, nobody's shooting. So I want to believe that there's nobody here right now. So we'll get him just kind of creeping up. Oh, team up top. Hold on. We'll go back to him in just a minute. We do have a bunch of enemy infantry advancing on us, so everybody light them up. We got a LMG team and maybe a rifle squad too. I can't tell. I thought there were two, but maybe it's just one really big squad. No line of sight, really. Tank is doing some work on him. All right, our infantry's doing their part too. They're actually getting some hits. Oh, there's that mortar. You guys get to cover. Where is he? We hear him. I think he's in the low spot in the valley next to the flag. I think he's somewhere over there. So we're going to move this tank up. You know what? Let's actually go fast. We're going to move it up and see if somewhere over here on 109 or by the 2 Moscow flag is where that mortar is coming from. If we can get some line of sight on him with the tank, this is going to change the whole battle. Looks like we've taken a little bit of casualties so far. Nothing major, but we do have some losses. Put those guys in ambush. I don't know, maybe move these guys up to help support this first trench that they would come attack. The tank, let's start moving down. He doesn't see anybody yet. Let's go small movements, small movements. It's also about time to start moving other units. So even though it's going to take forever, we're going to try it. We're going to tell him to move up. And we'll get maybe a better line of sight up into that kind of valley that they were in. Tank's still trying his best. Looks like he's getting there. We'll get him to sweep this last little part of the trench. I'm not convinced we killed that whole team. I mean, it looks okay, but I'm not convinced. So let's start moving these guys up now. They can fill in behind our advance units and hold the back end of this hill. All right. We'll see how Brunner's car holds up because we do not want to lose it. That cost us a lot, and he's an important asset. We can't let him die. All right. We do have support coming in to fill in the rear, though, so let's keep these guys moving up, keep a little bit of pressure on. This one tank's just holding down this town. I know it seems weird. I probably should just move on, but I want to keep our flank and our rear secure. So I'm keeping that in mind. We've got the AT gun kind of looking at it. We'll have this guy repositioned to look at it. Nobody's shooting at him right now. You know that mortar's still out there, so he's going to be shooting any minute. As soon as he's got a cue that they're moving, he's going to drop some more rounds. All right, you guys, I don't know. I think maybe just move them down a little bit. Do we leave them all the way up there at the top, or do we move them down towards the lower part of the trench? Like, I don't know. We go over there. Let's put Brunner. Oh, we can't move him up there. I wanted to keep him close enough to be supportive of these other teams, but I don't want him to be the first target somebody sees. So, oh, you know what? It's telling me I can't go anywhere. Maybe because it's not a tank, he can't drive across a trench. That's what the issue is. I do see the red dot on the minimap. We're going to hold up with Brunner for just a minute. Yep, there we go. This guy's running. Panzer 38. That might be our mortar team. Nope. It's like a reserve rifle squad. Okay. We got the runner. These guys keep moving up. We got some smoke coming in, it looks like, too. Alright. Come down here. Wait, what's this? Medium machine gun. Alright, light them up. One down, two down. One more guy. Okay. Get this guy up here. Okay, perfect. We got them, and it's a decisive victory. We gained our force strength and our rank, opponent casualties, and control of our ground. They lost force strength, lost casualties for us, and also lost ground that they control. We have one wounded leader. I did not see who that was, so that's interesting. And we have one killed infantry, so only one loss. That's not terrible. They've got 2 killed leaders, 4 killed infantry for a total of 6, as well as a wounded leader and 8 wounded infantry. We took 5 prisoners as well, so that's not too bad. And obviously not a lot is different in our operation score, given that this is the first battle of the operation, but that outcome from that battle relative to the operation, we're still in the negative for ground that we control. Brunner was not our command or our leader, I guess, that was injured, but I'm wondering, we've got Bach here, the assistant leader. I don't know if that counts like as a wounded leader. And then we've got one KIA in that rifle squad. In our next rifle squad, there were only two guys. That was weird. You know what? No, it wasn't. That was the squad that I had rest. Duh. Okay. This rifle squad, everybody's okay. We have one minor injury there. Mark III's okay. Panzer's okay. Panzer's okay. So not a lot of concern in our vehicles. AT gun made it through the fight without getting hit by a mortar, so that's a wonderful thing. In our kills, let's see. Panzer 35 got 2. Panzer 38 got 9. Look at that. Okay. He was busy. Mark III only got 1 kill. And that's actually it. Just those guys are the ones that were our killers. And we still have no medals or awards besides a wound badge. Let me know how I did. I tried to have the units work together more. We focused on a single attack where I could pay closer attention to the battle as it unfolded, and we got a solid win. Remember to leave your comment about the name you would like and for which unit. And y'all have been a really great audience, so get involved with each other and vote for the best names. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and let's put it together for the next fight. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.